I've just watched Blake Lively's Vogue recipe where she made her secret slash not so secret now key lime pie, and I thought it looked absolutely delicious, and so I really wanted to try and make it. It was a bit of a hunt trying to find limes. I don't know if it's lime season where I am, if they have seasons, I don't know, but I struggled to find them, but I managed to find them in the end. They had 2 bags left, and so I got those. So she starts off with the pie crust, and so let's get that started. The only thing is that there are differences in terms of the actual ingredients from where I am. I'm not in America, I'm in South Africa, and so I have had to sort of change everything according to that, such as Cool Whip. I had to make my own Cool Whip because I don't know what Cool Whip is, but I looked it up and I made my own Cool Whip. And that the biscuits listed that she uses are close enough to digestives, and so I'm using something similar to like a digestive biscuit for the base. But I don't think it really matters the base, just as long as that you get sort of like a nice crust with the biscuit.
So in her video she has a food processor. I on the other hand only had a rolling pin, which is okay. I just placed the biscuits into a bag and then hit them with the rolling pin.
Now that there are biscuit crumbs literally everywhere, I think I have it to as fine a consistency as it is going to be.
She then takes some butter and mixes that with the biscuits. There are no measurements, but I used about 1.5 knobs to start, and then I added just a little bit more to make it a bit more moist.
I'm going to add in 1 egg.
And then I just cracked in some flaky sea salt and started to give it a good mix. I actually love the idea of adding salt because with anything sweet, I always believe that you need at least a pinch of salt to balance out the flavors.
And now I get to use this pie dish. I had this pie dish now for about 2-3 years, and I've actually never used it. It was one of those things that I bought for myself as like a trousseau that I knew one day I was going to need. So I'm just going to take now the biscuit mix, put it on this and bring it up all the way to the edges is the way that she recommends doing it. So let's do that.
Usually with these kinds of things I like to grease the pie dish, but because there's so much butter in the actual base, I really didn't need to, and it was actually perfect just going straight on the pie dish.
I have now just put it in the dish. I tried bringing it up as much as possible. Hopefully I got the ratio right. It's not too moist, not too dry. I'm going to go pop this in the oven now. I think it's set for about 10 minutes. And then I will bring it back and we can start with the filling. And so I'm taking out my cold whip, Cool Whip, and then I'm adding in an instant pudding. She takes the instant pudding and she puts the instant pudding and some condensed milk into the Cool Whip. I don't think I'm going to use this whole thing. Fun tip as well, if you open your condensed milk with the lid passed this way, it doesn't actually overflow at the top. I don't know how much of this to put in. Let's start with that.
Now the mixture that we've just made in the other bowl, she now divides that into 2 bowls. In a third bowl, I put about 250 ml of cream and then whipped that until it was nice and firm.
The way I saw that she did it was that she actually layered it. So she had 3 layers. She had the thick lime, I think, at the bottom, then the middle layer of the Cool Whip with the pudding, and then the top layer with just the cream. I'm then going to add the juice of the lemons and the limes into one of the Cool Whip bowls. Let's put that in. And she also said to make it quite a strong flavor. So I don't know what is an acceptable amount and what is not. I think I'm going to try with 1 lime completely and then add the lemon just little bit by little bit.
Whilst I'm making this, I thought it would be a nice idea to answer some questions that people may have about my channel.
I think let's start off with a bit of context. I come from South Africa, so a lot of people cannot actually work out my accent. Apparently my accent is really weird. Okay, I'm going to do the zest of the lime and the lemon.
So it's interesting because some people have commented that they can definitely hear that I'm South African, and then other people say they are so confused.
The other question I feel like might be a little bit confusing is in some of my videos I'm working in a different kitchen. So there's two different setups that I use, and sometimes it's more of a white kitchen and then other times it's this wooden kitchen. And now George and I, there is a flat connected to the property with my parents, and we actually live in the flat at the back. And so sometimes, depending on the light and the available facilities, I chop and change between the two. And if it also depends on like who I'm cooking for in my family, because sometimes I cook for everyone. And so yeah, so that's why there's sometimes different setups from where I am cooking. Today, obviously, as you can see, I'm in the flat. So yeah, and it's really difficult to say like what box of YouTube I fit into, because as you know, I love cooking, but I also love adventure. I love running and doing all those things. Well, sometimes I am doing all sorts of videos and it might be quite difficult to place me, and that's probably why I need to start incorporating more segments into my cooking, like now where I'm actually talking, because I do tend to do a lot of sort of anonymous videos kind of thing where I don't always show my face.
For our second bowl, I'm adding in some fresh whipped cream into the other bowl that contains the Cool Whip condensed milk mixture.
I've got my 3 layers. I'm going to start topping everything. I must be honest, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be so delicious. So let me start. So she said to start with the lemony layer at the bottom. So I'm going to do that one. And then you work it up in terms of how thick it is and the strongness of the flavor. So I believe it's like the lemon at the bottom. The middle layer is the one with the whipped cream plus the Cool Whip mixture that we did. And then the final layer is cream. And then we top it with obviously some lemon and lime pieces.
Another question to answer is, how did George and I meet? And I'm just going to simplify it in a short answer.
And George and I actually met ironically at a run. It was supposed to be a run and a quiz night. And so what happened was it actually got rained out. The run part got rained out, and then we had to do the quiz night. I don't really like quiz nights. I feel like whenever I'm doing a quiz, I freeze up, you know, with things like 30 seconds and stuff like that. Like I feel like I'm so bad at playing those kinds of games. But the run got rained out, and so we couldn't do the run, and George and I he came over to my table for the quiz night, and in the end we just started chatting, became friends first, and then the rest is sort of history.
I wouldn't say we became friends first. We started to get to know each other and then realized that we liked each other.
Yeah, it all happened in sort of the natural progression of a relationship. George was just about to walk off with a bowl.
So as George walked off with the bowl, I then started by placing the final layer, which is the fresh whipped cream, on top. I then started cutting up my lemon and lime pieces, and I actually noticed in the video after doing this that she actually kind of twists the lemon and lime pieces so that they look all fancy. I didn't do that, but I just did this instead, and I think it still looked cute.
I'm now going to properly pop it into the fridge, and it's going to set.
I noticed afterwards that it would have looked even better if I had actually zested some lemon and lime over the top of this, but it's okay. I think it still looked quite cute.
Okay, I've let it set. Obviously, you can see by the change of outfit. We are going to be doing a taste test. It actually came out really nice. I think it's going to be quite light and fluffy, but let's give it a try. That's really good. Super light and fluffy, not too sweet actually for me, but it's not sweet, I don't know, but it's really nice and fluffy. The flavors are just really great, and it's actually not like overly lemony. I think because you got the one layer that's like super lemony, plus the other cream and the other mix of the cream with Cool Whip, it honestly balances it out perfectly. I'm so glad I gave this a try.
Overall, it came out amazing, and it actually tasted like a cheesecake, and so it's kind of like a non-baked cheesecake. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.